Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Jessie.
Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina. Today we're reacting to Jeffree Star. He was on this podcast. I don't know whose podcast it was because I don't really watch a lot of podcasts. Not that have Jeffree Star on them, apparently. And he said some stuff that we've been saying for a long time, and finally he caught up.
I feel like Jeffree's doing the Lord's work, yeah.
He's doing the Lord's work?
Yeah, telling people that they don't have to be crazy to be gay.
Yeah. To be gay?
Yeah, because all these gays are crazy, and gay and crazy aren't synonymous.
Oh, yeah, but like nowadays people...
You think it is.
Yeah. But they usually identify as queer, not gay. I think there's a big difference between queer and gay, although the queers don't think so. But rational people who live in reality definitely do think so. Yeah. Okay, so let's watch this clip.
Nowadays, we have grown men with beards wearing dresses going into the women's restroom. When I was younger, any normal person that felt like they were born in the wrong body was trying to be passable, and they were really wanting to live their life as a woman. And if you really think psychologically you were born in the wrong body, unfortunately, it's like a mental illness. But people hear illness and they just have a full spiral.
But that doesn't make any sense to me, because you'll see people say, I'm neurodivergent and I have ADHD and I'm disabled and I'm autistic and I'm trans, but don't say I have a mental illness. And it's like, but you just said you have like all these other mental illnesses, but your trans isn't a mental illness?
They say they still believe in the stigma, but they're not acknowledging that they get so many benefits out of being disabled, right?
Yeah.
Being disabled means you get money. That's why they want to be disabled. Being ill does not give you money. Mental illness doesn't give you money. Disability gives you money.
Yeah, but if you have a mental illness, that is a disability. Transgender as a mental illness was not considered a disability. It was in the DSM-5. It still is.
It's a mental illness, not a disability.
Yeah, but mental illness is disability.
You're not going to get checks because you think your gender's wrong. You get checks because your legs don't work.
Okay, I see what you're saying here. So you think the reason that they don't want it called a mental illness is because they can't get disability from it. But if they could get disability from it, then they would be like, yeah, it's totally a mental illness. Give me that money.
I'd argue there's a handful of people out there who don't use it to the full degree of a mental disability would be.
Autistic is a mental disability?
I'm saying
mental
there are some people out there. There are some people out there who transition and aren't crazy. Mm-hmm. We've seen only a few of them, but they exist.
Yeah.
And for those people, I can understand being like, I don't want it to be classified as an illness. I'm fine. That I can understand. But not for the whole, you know what I mean?
Well, you don't have to be acting crazy to have a mental illness.
No, but that's what they assume goes with it. Like, mental illness equal crazy. Physical illness equal money.
Okay, agoraphobia, that's a mental illness.
But it also doesn't give you money.
It does to a lot of other people, just not to me, because New York's a fucking ass. But it does to other people.
I'm just saying.
Like veterans, they have PTSD. That's a mental illness. They usually get checks for that.
Yeah,
not as many as they should.
I'd argue that that's because they served their country to get the PTSD. If you got PTSD just from living, I don't think you get any money.
Oh, some people do. I mean, a lot of people abuse the system. They use the system. Neurodivergent.
Also doesn't make money.
Is that a disability or is that a mental illness?
I don't think it's a mental illness either. Because by saying neurodivergent, you're saying that the brain does not conform to normal patterns. Mm-hmm. So it's not saying it's an illness. It's saying that your brain's wired differently.
Yeah, but if you think that you were born in the wrong body, that's definitely not normal.
I agree with you that it's a mental illness. I'm only saying that I can understand why some don't want to classify it as one. I would get it fully. I would push for a disability if I wanted money.
They get Medicare to pay for it. Their transition surgery. Wouldn't that be considered under disability?
Only if they're super poor, right?
Not all of them. A lot of them take advantage of the system. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. That's all I'm saying. Is that you'll see a TikTok of some weirdo chick who's obviously deranged, railing off her disabilities and her mental illnesses. But then if you say that trans is a mental illness, they'll freak out on you. And it's like your cognitive dissonance is a mental illness as well. Mm-hmm. And you're proving it within your TikTok and you don't even know it because you're stupid or just retarded or both.
I think a lot of these people are just attention whores.
Yeah. And their logic, you'll never understand their logic because when it comes down to it, it's all about attention. But I just don't get, I've never heard an explanation for why they think trans isn't a mental illness, but all these other things that they can't even prove are.
I haven't heard a good argument as to why it's not a mental illness either, to be fair.
Because how many of these people who say they're neurodivergent and autistic have actually gotten diagnosed, not online?
I don't think a lot of them. I mean, I've met quite a few people who have been diagnosed, and I don't think that it's a bad thing. I also think that the people who have been diagnosed are usually way more hinged than the people who haven't been.
The ones that diagnose themselves online?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And the thing is,
Pardon me.
be it gender identity, be it mental health, unless you have professionals helping you through it, you're probably doing it wrong. And I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say that, but you're probably doing it wrong. Even I, who just had like depression and anxiety, had to go to a professional to talk about how to handle those things. I don't currently, but it helped a lot.
Yeah.
You saw while I was there, it would help me process through things and think of a better way to handle a situation. I'm not saying that everyone needs help. I'm saying that if you have a mental issue, I'm not even saying illness, I'm saying issue. If you have something wrong that you can't figure out, sometimes you need professionals, and they can help a lot more than you think. That's why they went to school for it. That's why they need degrees to go do it, because they've been trained to do it.
Yeah, but I've also seen podcasts with people who have gone to school for it, and the stuff that they're teaching them now that is supposed to be helping their future patients, it's actually more detrimental. And some of it is just absolutely weird.
I'm not saying that every person that aims to help you is going to help you well, but if you actually have someone with good intentions who's aiming to help you, then that'll help way more than someone who's just collecting a paycheck.
Sometimes, I'd say. For me, it's finding a good therapist or a counselor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist is like trying to find a good person to date.
You act like I didn't do this. The first therapist I went to sat there and told me to look in a mirror and tell myself I'm beautiful because she thought I had self-esteem issues. Guess what? I never went back. I couldn't do it. The second therapist I found sat there and talked about horses with me the whole time. Couldn't do it again. And then the third therapist I found was actually way better, but it took me years to find that one.
You think I'm trying to like compete with you? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that finding a good therapist for a lot of people, and people who are looking for therapists now should know this, that you shouldn't settle on the first one. You should like date around till you find the right therapist, because it is like trying to find a good partner. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy.
I'm not trying to compare to you. I'm simply saying that I know it's hard because I had 3 experiences that showed me it's not like easy.
Yeah, it's not easy because it's not always going to be the right fit.
And as much as I am advertising that you should see someone professional, I'm also saying that there are 2 professionals that I declined because they did not fit what I needed. The lady talking about horses all day, she would have been like, oh, whatever you are, you are. Same with the lady who told me to tell myself I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
She would have been like, even if I was ugly as shit, she would have told me to say the same thing.
Yeah. And also male therapists don't really work well with female patients.
I was gonna say, those were all women, though.
Majority of the time as well. So it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Do males perform better with female therapists or also with men?
I don't know. I haven't met a lot of men who have gone to therapists. The ones that I do know have only gone to female therapists. I mean, it seemed to work fine. I haven't seen a lot of males go to male therapists. I haven't really talked to any men who have done that. The male therapists and psychologists that I have been to have been the one was okay, but then the other ones totally screwed me over, whether it was financially or with documents, stuff total assholes, if we're being completely honest. It's the arrogance. Sometimes male therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, they have an arrogance about them that most of the time females, therapists and psychologists, they don't have. I think that works against them.
Interesting take.
The male therapist, it works against them.
So back to Jeffree Star.
Back to Jeffree Star.
So this new age of weirdos and predators trying to pretend they're trans or pretend they're this and harm women and children, that's my issue. So there is this piece of shit named Lillytino who is pretending to be trans and recently went into the women's restroom at Disneyland. Disneyland's for children. Yes, there's adults that like Disney. We know that. And the camera's rolling. I'm sorry, there's a 7-year-old that just walked behind you. Why the fuck are you in a little training bra and lipstick, clearly with a man's voice, in the women's restroom filming? Rage bait, attention. These things did not exist 10 years ago. So people love to misconstrue what I said, and that's really what I meant. And I think that we should be protecting women and children at all costs these days with so many weirdos out there on the internet.
Amen to that. That's not even the clip that I was going to bring up. There's another clip.
Dawson one?
What?
where Shane Dawson asks if he goes by he or she.
Is that another one that you saw?
Andrew, sorry.
You heard about it?
I saw it this morning, but I didn't actually have it on my phone. So I'll show it to
see,
me.
I heard another one last night that it was on the Adam Carolla podcast. That was the same podcast, but a different clip. Was it from the same podcast, the one you're talking about?
No, it was a video of him, Jeffree Star, and Shane Dawson.
Oh, and he said identify as an alien or something?
I didn't finish watching it. I only saw him asking.
Was it a while ago and Shane was filming?
It seemed like it. No, Shane was behind. Shane and him were both on the camera together.
Were they at Jeffree's house?
I don't know. I didn't
I'm sorry.
know.
I used to watch a lot of Shane Dawson and Jeffree, especially
I'm not
when Shane
as
did the
terminally
whole,
online as some people.
like me. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just saying.
Yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about. Maybe I can find it. Is there anything you wanted to say about... It's very funny that he brought up Lillytino, might I just add.
Yeah, because Lillytino's the one they hate the most. Everyone can hate Lillytino. It's like an open party.
It's incredibly easy to hate him because they all know that he's fake.
Whether you're for or against trans people, we hate Lillytino.
Yeah.
Seeing him as like a knife to the heart every time.
He's such a horrible person. He's just a piece of garbage, like Jeffree said. Jeffree's like, I think he's bi. I don't think he's like fully gay, but I think he's only been in relationships with men. I mean, he sees it for what it is. He sees that these guys are faking it, that they're not being honest, that they're not trans, that they're just predators. Like he said, in quotes, predators, absolutely. Like we've been saying for years, these guys are predators. They're using the trans loophole, and then they're doing creepy stuff, and then hiding behind the shield of trans.
Because I know it currently gives them protection.
Yeah. And the fact that there's so many people who can't, like, get out of their own way and see it for what it is, they're the worst part of it.
There are two things you're doing that are really negative to women. Number one, you're putting these men into their spaces. Number two, you're convincing them to go into men's spaces pretending to be men. And that's dangerous for a lot of women. You see a trans individual, female to male, going into a men's space, and you know that they don't look like men. That's not safe for them.
No, it's not.
It's also not safe for them to be in our spaces because you don't know who is truly trans and who isn't. Now, the thing is, if we had better...
You could just say you're trans.
If we had better guidelines that people were following in order, then we wouldn't have this type of feeling. And I brought this up even with the Tish Hyman situation. If these people walked into the restroom and just peed, washed their hands, and left and made no fusses, would you even notice?
If they at least tried to pass?
Yeah.
Well, before people didn't notice.
You might notice that they obviously don't fit, right? But if they're not if they're not causing an issue, especially women, they just want to get by with their day. They're not going to stop and say something. It's when the issues start that people start saying something. So yeah, if you guys actually looked like women and went in, none of us would have this problem. If you weren't filming in the bathroom, we wouldn't have a problem. We really wouldn't. Just like, and I'm not saying I want this. I'm simply saying that if I went to the gym and I'm changing and I notice someone walk in who definitely looks trans, but at least is trying, and they face the lockers and they put on their clothes and they change and they never make it like obvious.
They do what women do?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and badger this individual because clearly you're just trying to live your life. 100%. I'm not gonna badger you. I'm not saying I want it to happen, but I'm saying that if I saw that, then I'm not gonna be as uncomfortable because I can tell that you're uncomfortable as it is. You're following protocol. Why would I be mad at that? But when you start showing bits and recording and doing anything possible to make it uncomfortable in those situations, that's when people start to have a problem. And that's when the predators really show out because a predator is going to make you uncomfortable in that situation. If they didn't, they wouldn't be a predator and no one would have a problem with it.
Predators can just walk into the locker room and you'll feel uncomfortable.
Yes,
because women have that sixth sense.
But there's a difference between feeling uncomfortable unjustifiably just because someone looks one way and then being reasonably upset because someone is doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think that you should be ignoring that little voice in your head that's saying something's off.
I'm not saying ignore it. I'm just saying, like, respond in kind. You know what I mean? Respond according to the situation.
Well, where it started here was that 10 years ago, there were trans people. Of course there were, right? And there weren't a lot.
But they did try and pass, like Jeffree said.
But nobody talked about it. Like, this wasn't a super big issue like it is today, right?
And they tried to pass, like Jeffree said.
They tried to pass. There were guidelines that you had to go to therapy for a year before you started the full transition, before you got on the medications and stuff like that. But also, I'm not done.
Sorry.
But also, there weren't as many. No, a lot of these trans activists will be like, yeah, well, that's because people hated them. It's like, no, nobody was talking about hating trans people. It wasn't a big thing. We knew that they were out there, but there weren't a lot of them, and they were trying, and we knew there were guidelines. There wasn't this self-ID stuff, and everything was kosher. For the most part, it was fine. But then when the self-ID thing became a thing, all the creeps gathered together in their gaggle of weirdos and said, hey, let's do this. Now we can get away with being creeps and we get protection at the same time. So you just open the door for all the predators and the creeps to come in and pretty much ruin it for all actual transsexual people. Now it's a problem, not because of the transsexuals, because of the politicians who allowed self-ID into law.
It's a coup, man. It's a fucking coup on trannies. And I was going to say, just to prove that there were definitely trans people like 10 years ago, you met someone who I met not too long after, who unfortunately found out has passed. But this individual was a woman when you knew. And when I met this individual, I thought was a gay man. Completely. Yep. Completely thought it was a gay man. And I'm not saying that in a rude way. I'm saying that so passable that I just thought it was a gay man.
Yeah.
And you knew them as a woman. And it wasn't until years later that I even found out that this individual was trans because the effort was put in. And I guarantee you when she walked into the women's room, it was probably not a problem as a woman. But as a man going in there, I can almost guarantee you there's probably no problems every time because he looked like a gay man to me.
Yeah. And when she told everyone, like our group of friends and stuff, that she was going to transition, no one cared. I had heard about transsexuals, never knew one. And when she came out and told us, we're like, okay, cool.
It wasn't negative. It was just
it was just like, okay,
it was like
whatever.
We're not mad, and if that makes you happy, that makes you happy, right?
It wasn't a big deal.
But now it's a big deal because.
And she told us about what she had to go through and the steps and all that stuff. That's how I found out about it.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to do any of that stuff. And now it's not considered a mental illness to them. You could just be some weird dude saying you're a chick, and you could do weird stuff and be a predator and creep on women in their bathrooms and locker rooms. It's not right. The self-ID needs to go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. These creepy guys and the politicians who allowed self-ID and just ruined it for all transsexuals. Trans is now where a predator who wants to peep on women, peeping toms, we used to call them, he could say he's a woman.
Now they're peeping tomettes.
Yeah, not do anything to transition, right? Just wear some nail polish. And he could go into the women's locker room, stare at women changing, get his jollies off. And while he's making women feel uncomfortable, and if women complain, they're the ones who face the backlash.
And he can probably sue them for being bigoted.
He could sue them. He gets protections. So trans is now the place where predators go to be protected and to do their predations, to prey on women and children. Thanks, progressives. They really are the freaking party. The Democrats, man, if they ain't going to win no presidency anymore if they don't completely denounce this self-ID freaking nonsense. I mean, I just saw a video of Joy Reid today saying if I saw a penis in my locker room, I'd be freaked out. And the other woman that she was interviewing on her podcast said, yeah, I'd be freaked out too. Hello. That's what women have been saying all along, because these aren't transsexuals. These are predator men preying on women and getting away with it, and then being covered.
Well, because what I said wasn't unreasonable. If you
hold on.
This bitch keeps dying, and I didn't even do nothing. She keeps silencing me.
I don't want to interrupt you with my coughs. Okay, go ahead.
But anyone with any bit of logic would say, and what I said wasn't unhinged. If you went in and just changed or just did your thing and walked out, not a single person would have a problem with it. Hell, if you put a sports bra over your man chest and had no boobs, even then, at least you'd look a little more like you were trying. But this dude was in the locker room for Tish specifically, chest out. At least act the part.
He wasn't even trying, dude. Just
That's what
because you're
I'm
wearing a
saying.
sports bra. I mean, women can tell. Inside, we can tell. No matter how freaking progressive you are, unless you're completely retarded Karen energy is like seeping into your brain cells and eradicating your brain. You can tell when someone is transsexual who's trying and someone who's just a creep man.
And that's the thing is, if any woman sees an unsolicited penis, she's gonna notice. And especially if it's in your face, she's gonna tell.
In your private space where you're expecting privacy.
And any person with logic would say, if there is tits in my face.
No tits in the face. But women don't normally do that in the locker room. They might walk around naked, but they're not going, woo!
Every time, so the last time I was in the gym and a lady walked in while I was like changing out of my regular bra into my sports bra, right? I was changing out of it. I like noticed something and I like went like a hair or whatever. I went to go pull it and she walked in and I was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, oh, don't worry about it, but she didn't sit there and be like, oh, titties.
Yeah,
and I didn't sit there and be like, you like my titties?
Right. Because women, we want our own privacy.
And that's the thing is like, a normal woman response is, oh, I'm sorry, every single time. And almost every time the woman in there will be like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not because she wanted to see him. It's not because it's actually kind of fine that she saw him.
Stuff happens. You're in the locker room.
It's a locker room. It's going to happen. And that's called courtesy. And that's just how women interact. And if you don't know that, maybe you're not trans.
You're definitely not trying and you don't care. Because a man who's just trying to be a creep in our locker rooms isn't going to give the same respect to a woman that a woman would give to a woman in our spaces.
Even a stranger that you don't like, you'd give more respect.
You would. For real. Mm-hmm. That's happened to me in locker rooms too. Like I've just seen like one lady who's just walking around naked, and I'm just like, okay, she's very comfortable in her birthday suit. I'm just not
I've
looking.
almost never encountered that.
I unfortunately have. Middle-aged woman, never an older woman, never like an older lady. Usually a chick in like her 30s. I see it once in a very great while. But you know what I've never seen in a locker room? Penis!
Thank God.
Never seen that. Thank Christ in heaven. Because that would freak me out. What my automatic assumption, if I was in the locker room, like back in the day, and there was some dude in my locker room with his like wang hanging out, I'd be thinking I'm about to get raped.
Oh, definitely.
That's what I would be thinking. Like the alarm bells would be going off and I'd be trying to get the out of there as fast as possible. And that's what women feel still to this day. Even though the whole self-ID thing is all hunky-dory and men are just walking into our spaces and locker rooms where we're getting naked. It's like, listen, if we're naked and there's some dude in here whose dick is out, we're going to think we might get raped.
Yeah.
What? Like, how do you not see that? Like, how do you not, like, are you retarded? Are you retarded? You have to be retarded.
I might be.
And then be like, oh, I'm not going to rape you. Really? Really?
Not to be the devil, but, like, I guess to a degree, it depends on how long the wang is out. Like, if a guy just has to pee...
You're in the locker room.
You know what I mean?
You
know what I'm saying, though? Like, yeah, but even to that degree, like I said about, like, the trans individuals, if I can't see the wang... then you're allowed to change. But if I can see the wang, then that's the problem.
The locker room's like a big open space. Then there's stalls for like the showers and for the bathrooms.
Like
but
I
like
said, there's walls, homie. You can turn and face the walls. No one is stopping you. And then you only see butt. You literally just see butt, and it's what it is. And how many people, unless you're showering, are changing their underwear?
Okay, but most transsexuals know that them getting naked in front of women who are also getting naked, that's going to make women feel uncomfortable. So if you're a dude and your dick is out, and you're around a whole bunch of like women who are getting changed and are naked, and that doesn't like hint to you that maybe that's going to make them uncomfortable, you're the fucking problem.
I agree with that completely. But I'm just saying, like, if I can't see the wang and the wang is out, then the time determines how weird it is. No? Because if you just pee
women get raped all the time, and they never see the wang, right? Okay?
I guess. I don't know about the statistics behind that.
So just because you don't see it doesn't mean
it's not coming.
Exactly. Anyway.
Today, if you want to eat, makeup mogul Jeffree Star ripped progressive parents for showing gender and transgender issues to their kids as fucking weirdos.
Really?
Yeah, Jeffree Star's got a clip here.
That's why are we putting in cartoons trans flags and all this stuff that and That's my personal opinion. I don't agree with it. I think it's too young. I don't agree with 8-year-olds wearing makeup either. It was never sexualized and weird. And like, why does the 5-year-old watching a Netflix cartoon show need to know about that right now? Why? And then let's just really take it there.
Let's take it there.
Why are we encouraging our kids to be a different gender and feed them false information when they're so young?
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I do think that we should reach out to Jeffree Star and try and have him as a guest. I don't think he'd do it, but there's always a shot.
I mean, you never know. He's a very, very big name. I would love it. I love his palettes. Jawbreaker. It's one of my favorite palettes, of course.
Well, if anyone happens...
I've been watching him since MySpace days when he was doing music. It would be a dream. It would be a dream of mine to
talk with Jeffree?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I'd be nervous and I might crap my pants, but
on the very one-off
that'd be cool.
chance that Jeffree Star gets sent this, hey, Jeff. Jeffree, whatever you prefer.
Jeffree. I guess his dad calls him Jeff.
Sorry, I work in retail. But yeah, come on over.
This is what I said recently that people really understood. When I grew up and I started looking different, right? My mother encouraged me to just be myself. When I started wearing makeup and being more feminine and wanting to do certain things, it wasn't, oh my God, Jeffree needs, what do they call it now? Gender affirming care. I'm done. She let me be myself. She didn't push me to be anything. Just like when you're a tomboy, did your mom try to, get you a surgery to be you know what I mean? Did she cut your tits off at 13? No. So nowadays, it's all these fucking weirdos telling their kids, oh my God, you like a Barbie? You're a woman. No, that's just a little boy experimenting, not knowing what the fuck he's doing. Why?
Or maybe he just likes Barbies. I like G.I. Joes and action figures and comic books when I was a kid.
For Christmas because I liked science and I liked the idea of having spy toys I could see on everyone.
Oh, then you have to cut your tits off.
My parents...
They would now.
My parents were
maybe not your parents, but yeah.
I was going to say, my parents were super anti-gay stuff. And they were like, nah, like, she's a kid who likes science. Why are we going to stop that?
Like, why do kids have to like only certain things?
Even to that extent, not to be that person, but my little brother had a baby doll. Like a traditional girl-style baby doll. It was a boy. It had like a blue clothing or whatever on. Mm-hmm. But he used to carry that thing. He used to put it to bed with him at night.
Yeah.
And he's not gay. He's not. Mm-hmm. He's only been with women. And this is the same kid who occasionally put on my mom's heels and stomped around. But it was because he was a kid. And he had 2 sisters. And you know what? Sometimes you want to play with the girl toys because they look different. Because no one actually showed you those. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you be interested, or at least a little bit? And I'm not saying that, there's nothing wrong with being a little feminine. He's not even that feminine. Some people are, and there's nothing wrong with that.
My sister had Barbie dolls. She had the big Barbie dream house, and I had my pet monster. My sister had Kid Sister, and I had my buddy doll. Is fine. I played with Nerf guns, and she played with Polly Pocket or Sky Dancer. I mean, does it mean that I was supposed to be a boy, but because I like certain things, that means that I have to be a boy? What if I didn't want to be a boy? But my mom was deranged and said I'm a boy. Why? Because I like stuff?
That's the same argument that they use for the trans stuff, though, right?
Yeah, what happened to just being yourself? Well, you can't be yourself. You have to be the different sex now. It's like, wait, but I'm allowed to like whatever I want to like. It'd still be me.
We might get the flag that says that we're for conversion therapy or whatever on this.
Frick.
And to that I say no. We're actually the most against conversion therapy. It's just you guys, not you.
The Trevor Project.
The people like the Trevor Project think that because we support gays living as gays, that we're against gays and trans people.
Right? It's like, no, maybe we just don't want kids transitioning before they know who they are.
No, and if you haven't heard from this whole video, I'm probably the most lenient one here about trans people going into spaces. I just think that they should be respectful of it. I don't really want it, but I also don't think that I have anything negative to say if they are respectful, courteous individuals.
Unfortunately, you can't allow them to be in our spaces, these men who think they're women, these transsexuals, because the self-ID still being a thing allows the creeps to come in. So we have to completely eradicate anybody who is trans, male to female, from coming in our spaces because the politicians have allowed the creeps to run amok in our spaces.
What a muck.
So we have to go, nope. Now we have to say absolutely not to everybody. Every man who thinks he's a woman or every trans woman, we have to say absolutely not because self-ID is a thing. And until Democrats retract all those laws and denounce it completely, until then, women, majority of them, I would say, are going to put their foot down and say absolutely not, no.
Well,
We're done.
unfortunately, and I'm not trying to call anyone out specifically, but the people who are trans and in that community really need to do the work to show that that's not what every trans person is. And I'm not saying that, because I truly believe there are people out there who suffer from an unfortunate mental illness called gender dysphoria and who do experience some type of relief from that with transitioning. I've never doubted that. I've never said it once in my life. That's why I will call people by their preferred pronouns sometimes, because I do believe that these people are actually struggling. Not all of them, but some of them. And unless you gatekeep your community, then the flies are going to come to the shit, dude.
Absolutely. Anyway, what do you guys think? Like and subscribe.
Comment
Let us know.
below.
Comment below. Ring the bell.
Ring my
Join
bell.
our memberships to keep this channel afloat.
We need floatage.
Yeah, we need definite floatage. 'Cause
We've been hurting, guys.
We've been hurting. The Trevor Project has not liked us very much.
What are we supposed to do when we finally hit 30,000? It's so close, but so far away. Do you have a friend who might like our videos?
Do you?
Think about it.
Bye.
Now think about that share button. Now think about what if they got together.
Bye.